I see my time is desynchronized. That's already a great start to the broadcast. I'm like 6 minutes behind everything else. Hang on, viewers. I'm having to, ensure that the video is being shared. There we go. Alright, well, we are here for season opener of the Marlboro World Championship. Am I even allowed to plug that? I'm not even 21. And again, neither is the person that made the league, so... the world may never know. Anyway, the season opener is here at Abu Dhabi. Do not listen to what the qualifying timer tells you. There's not 16 minutes left in the session, there's like 10. I voted into the session late because of technical difficulties regarding starting the stream. And Codemasters doesn't know how to program synchronization, so here we are. Why am I on board with you? You're on an in-lap. Right on board with Jake Scarborough himself, as he has just started his first flying lap. Or, as far as I can tell, his first flying lap. And a brief tow off of not only his teammate, but also I think that was an AlphaTauri there. When I put the camera on somebody who's about to start his lap, I will take the viewers through a lap around the circuit as a driver. Luckily, I used to play this game a lot, so I used to play these games, so I know how to do that. I'm not completely unexperienced. Scarborough with purple sector 2 there on the map down there. At least that's what the game tells me. It's, you know, that's not always 100% accurate. Only 3 lap times set are a 36 something, I can't read that, that's purple. 36.0, a 36.8, and a 37.1. Scarborough runs a 36.4. Let's see, here's one who's just starting... No. Well, we don't have just starting. Quickly on board with Travis Van Nistendorp as he is about to finish his first attempt. And it is 37, basically a 37.1. I'll put the perspective on Gabe Cazzola as he's working his way through the hotel section on his outlap. So a lap around the Yas Marina circuit. It's a medium braking zone into 1. You don't have to turn as much as you have to, or think you have to. Turn 2 is not much, but turn 3 can really throw you off, especially if you do not have much rear downforce. Turns 4 and 5 are a slow chicane that lead directly to a hairpin. Not anymore in real life, but we have to deal with it in this game. Unfortunately. Down the incredibly long back straightaway, relatively speaking, incredibly long anyway. Previous game to be clocking in 200 easily, but now not so much. Heavy braking into this slow chicane, and then we have yet another straightaway and another DRS zone. And we have like a chicane-S hybrid complex. Left, right, left. Don't touch any curbs. Another left. A weird half-trail braking zone into the hotel section. Encounter traffic as you head under the hotel section. Still avoiding curbs, which our onboard driver is not doing to the best of his abilities. 2 more high-speed rights. Run into Donald Stern, and still a 36.8 despite encountering Haas cars. That has effectively thwarted Donald Stern's lap attempt. And Travis. That's the wrong button. Yes, Tyler, I'm aware that my thing is jacked up. That is because it didn't load in immediately when everybody else did, because I was waiting to set up the thing. So I'm basically looking at this like 6 minutes in the past. I'm not actually sure how much really remains in the session timer. I can't even see the current session timer. But yeah, just bear with me here on qualifying. I don't know if leaving and rejoining would even help matters. It might. But this is a Codemasters game we're working with here, so on the other hand, it very well might not help if I did that. As I was talking, I think I was going through the lap tour. We have reached the minute 35s with the Mercedes duo of Colton Irving and Sean Cosley. Fidel Fabian is on his next lap, the other McLaren driver. He almost reached 200 miles an hour. You need higher downforce here than you did in previous games, and that's the only reason why we aren't seeing like 204 down that back straightaway. That's what we used to have in 2020. Using all of the outside curbing. The outside curbing is better than the inside. The inside curbs are a death sentence in just about every corner on this track. Fidel runs a 36.1 that puts him on the second row. His teammate will soon head around to attempt to match this as Fidel parks the car. Journey begins around the Yas Marina or Yas Island. Yes, something, I don't know. Abu Dhabi circuit. Don't ever touch that inside curb. That's almost certain death if you do. That inside curb forces you off track, so that's lost you a couple tenths. Hit that DRS button. Not going to be 200. missing the apex of that corner completely, and I think this lap is just about over with. Go back to the Haas of Travis Van Oostendorp as he makes his way through. I think those are turns 7 and 8, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 10, heading towards 11, 12, 13, I think. If it's wrong, sue me. The FIA never made any sense anyway. Bit of hesitation on the turn in there. Lots of exit curb, barely even on the curb actually by the time the corner's done. Luckily we're on regular corner cutting. And that's a lot of curb. Travis has DNF'd, but his lap does count. It's not an improvement, but the lap was counted. Okay, so yeah, this is the end of the session. The session timer says otherwise, but this is the end of the session. Crabtree finds some more outside curb, but he runs a 35.3 front row alongside Ethan Fonseca in the Alpine. And I believe that is technically the end of the session. Unfortunately, though, I think the game is bugged because of me. Right, so then who's still going?
Parker's in the pits, didn't retire.
Oh, fool. And how long do we have to wait for him?
Minute 5 left on the time remaining screen.
Or not. Or now he gets the memo. Alright, so there's a spoiler of the in-race reporter. If we have a safety car, I'll be communicating with Tyler McIntosh down there with his early qualifying blunder that I didn't get on camera because of technical difficulties.
Thank God.
But that is the qualifying session concluded, and I guess, thank God, my game is finally getting with the program everybody else here. I don't remember if there's a formation lap in Marlboro or not. If there is, I will run everyone through the grid order throughout. But I don't know. There's not enough time on that leaderboard screen to do it, otherwise I would. Seconds before the grid forms up, and we either have the formation lap or the 5 lights. And we do have a formation lap, so as reset that, your grid order goes Ethan Fonseca, Tyler Crabtree, Colton Irving, Sean Cosley, Fidel Fabian, Matthew Stotts, Kyle Phillips, Jake Scarborough, Andrew David. I have to find the spreadsheet. I believe that's his name, Andrew something. Apologies, I've never met you before. Gabe Cazola, Liam Huffman, Travis Van Oostendorp, Donald Stern, Tyler McIntosh, Wolfgang Stone, Adrian Saldierna, Jonathan Parker, who I thought was going to be at the race, and then Taylor Gerald, I think is how you pronounce that name. Probably.
Jarrell, maybe? I don't know.
Jarrell, Gerald, Dale Jarrett, I don't know. Spreadsheet back up on my screen. Information lap is almost concluded. These little dynamic cameras that I probably won't be using a whole lot because I'm the commentator, I'm not really the broadcaster, as it were. I mean, I'm broadcasting, yes, but I'm more focused on making sure the racing is on the screen rather than having it look flashy. And I'm not a professional. I'm not super easily able to commentate things happening with a camera angle like this. I go back and forth, but put the camera on somebody a little further in the back to try and pick up on the lap 1 pandemonium. Right on with the Haas of Donald Stern as we see the 5 red lights up there in the distance. And green flag is away. Green light, green flag, etc. I will do it for here though. If Saldian are just not even attempting to go off the grid. A bit sketchy. Fidel is forced onto a curb and he has just cut off the Alfa Romeo behind. Is Andrew David, that was his name. We have some chaos in the back. The game is trying to tell me the pit strategy. That's not really my primary concern at this moment. The Red Bull of Taylor Jarrell has made a pretty rapid start, up 6 places. He started dead last, and he's looking for a 7th on the Alpine of Gabe. Super aggressive braking. Does he keep the position? Well, he would have, but then he drove straight into the back of Travis Van Oostendorp, and into the runoff area he goes. Van Oostendorp making a move on Huffman. Will he brake late enough? Huffman actually just retreats. We have reached gridlock here. Sean Cosley forced to take evasive action from something. He's still being forced. He's not getting any real estate. The game still thinks I care about the pit stop strategy. I'm trying to see the speedometer right now. Fidel has not had even a little bit of a decent start, and the way his car is handling right now, I suspect damage may be a result, or resulting in that. Oh yeah, he's missing an end plate. He's not pretty. I saw a bit of wing flying off there as well, and I don't know what vehicle that could have come off of. There's a yellow up ahead. I do not know what that is for. Don't touch that curb. Colton Irving off track, presumably with some damage of his own. He cannot take the chicane. People are approaching him quickly. Oh, my Thrasher. Ahead of McIntosh, we have Cazzola versus Parker going towards turns 8 and 9. Numbers are hard. Behind that, McIntosh's teammate is being overtaken by an Aston Martin. Jake Scarborough is cozying on the Mercedes of Cosley at a rapid pace, or maybe he's been there the whole time, I don't know, probably. At any rate, he's right there, he's within pretty much 3/10. Same can be said for the AlphaTauri of Liam Huffman versus Van Oostendorp. But hotel section, not really a lot of allowance to overtake. Gonna have to wait until the back straight. Maybe turn one if you really get lucky or your opponent really messes up, but Jarrell is out of the race, and there's a VSC. He seems to have DNF'd. How did he DNF? I don't know. The VSC, the race pauses for usually like 30-40 seconds, sometimes a minute or maybe even 2. Although usually if it goes over a minute, it just becomes an actual safety car. They wouldn't do that though now, I don't think, since all of the competitors have gotten clear of the crash site. A few drivers have elected to pit under this VSC. Some didn't really have a choice, but I know for a fact that Donald Stern, Andrew David, and Kyle Phillips are people who pit willingly, I believe. No, Andrew David didn't. I know that Donald did, as far as I can tell. I don't know. Wait, I can look. I can look and just see who pitted there and didn't need to change their front wing. Okay, so never mind. All 5 of these drivers had to fix a wing. So nobody actually pitted that didn't have to. Put that off my screen. Jonathan Parker is right there on that AlphaTauri's diffuser. But again, hotel section. No overtaking opportunities here, unless you want to die. Parker has really applied the pressure to that AlphaTauri. He's going to try the outside of 1. He is forced off, but he takes the position off the track anyway. I don't really know if that's exactly how that works. Saldiarna has been claimed by turn 1. That's a new place. And there's the actual safety car. I knew that was only a matter of time. Even though Abu Dhabi is not the most difficult track, you know, there's a lot of rust coming in from the holiday season, I suppose. At least that's what I'm going to say is the cause. In an attempt to sound professional and not bash on the drivers that, you know, don't deserve it. Speaking of deserving it, Colton Irving gets the drive-through for speeding under the safety car. And I wish I had a bottle of water next to me, because my throat is already deteriorating, and we're only 4 laps into the GP. It's not a great start. This is about where I would patch in the in-race reporter of Tyler McIntosh, but we haven't really had much race yet to report on. We're only 4 laps in, and most of it's been pretty self-explanatory up to this point. My audio is staticking, and I have no idea if that's a server/in-game thing, or if that's my audio equipment. That's... What was I looking at there? Dude wanted to do the national circuit, I guess. So we have had a couple of vehicles stay out. Everybody that isn't in the top 4 though has made at least a pit stop. This has put Jonathan Parker in the lead. Mind you, he qualified. He actually didn't qualify, so he started P17 in the race. But he's also the one that's expected to win the championship. He's the title favorite going into this season, so... It'll be interesting to see how things pan out there, as he... Now that he is there, he's going to be pretty hard to get out of there. Seems most people have caught up to the safety car line. Some more than others. Jeez. We will not be able to go this lap, though. It's quite a distance away for, 13th on back. David's about to make his way there, but Fabian, Stern, and Irving have quite a ways. There's still about 10 seconds left, like 10 seconds to make up, and I think they'd have to be called in by now if it were, so another lap it is. Maybe for the best for my throat, but I mean, I am supposed to be talking here, so... Thinking twice, Liam Huffman pits and gets a speeding penalty under the safety car. That's impressive. Does reach the safety car, and I think by the end of this sector, everybody except for that AlphaTauri will have reached the safety car. So, unless something weird happens, the safety car will go in at the end of this lap, but we've still got to wait 2 minutes. Fidel and David getting into it under safety car. Never like that happening, because that pretty much ends a race at this point, because, well, even if it's found that Fidel wasn't at fault and it's just a faulty penalty on the game, which happens a lot, Fidel would have to go the entire race without pitting in order to get that 5-second penalty removed, and I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I suppose it's possible the hards can go this long, but even if they can, also have to think about if you should do that. Yeah, Fidel maybe can reach the end of the race on those hards, but imagine how slow he's going to be going come lap 26, 27, 28. Not very fast. And there's our confirmation. Parker, I think, will... Actually, no, the safety car is backing Parker up, really. The safety car should start to pull away from Jonathan here. Sorry, Johnny. He doesn't like being called Jonathan. And now David has obtained his own penalty by colliding with an AlphaTauri back there. As soon as that safety car enters the pit lane, Parker can floor it. But he is not giving it a whole lot of space, so I don't really think he's going to do that way. Pardon me, I have no idea where that came from. Safety car, I think, has crossed the C line by now. So it's whenever Parker hits that gas. Alright, of the final turn, it's the simplest way to do it. Can cause some madness though, as that can... Not everybody's in that corner yet. Andrew David retires, Fidel pits. He has to serve that 5-second now. Liam Huffman with a scare over that curb, but he manages to hold it steady enough to not die. And they all file through the hairpin combat for P3 between an Alpine, an Alpha, and an Aston. There are too many A's on this grid. We'll watch from Stott's perspective as he is about to also get himself involved. What's Jake seeing here? We'll find out. Stott's with a huge curb hop. He about drives straight into that Alfa Romeo. And just about drives straight into that tire barrier. Yellow back there for Donald Stern, who seems to have spun on the exit of 9. Gabe went for a gap that was not there, and everyone has to scramble and scatter for evasive maneuvers. I believe that was Wolfgang Stone with an illegal overtake, as he was very obviously not on the racing surface there when we cut the camera over here. No, those curbs aren't fun. Matthew Stotts has spun, and he will pit in. I assume he must have gotten damage from whatever collision sent him into that spin, and we have another safety car. Remember, folks, we can only have 5 safety cars in a race. Let's not hit the flippin' limit, shall we? What was that even for? Nobody DNF'd or anything. Stotts wasn't even on the racetrack. That was a knee-jerk reaction game. Now I gotta waste another 5 minutes. Hey, if I ever do an F1 league, remind me to turn the safety cars off. I don't care if you've crashed or not. All safety cars do is make a long Grand Prix longer. It makes sense in real life, because we don't want to harm the marshals that have to go and clean up the debris. But guess what? This is a video game. There are no marshals. I know that's a very hot take, but like... I just... It's a pain. It's a pain for the commentary, at least. I mean, in the race it has its benefits and negatives, but as a commentator I just have to sit here and improvise for the next 5 minutes because there's no racing happening. This is null space. I think the top few cars are fools if they don't pit. Go to mediums from here, your strategy is just about complete. That will allow Ethan Fonseca to inherit the race lead as he catches up to the safety car. To AlphaTauri's also deciding to not pit in. Oh, those are some worn mediums, though, relatively speaking. He's going to far and away have the most wear out of anybody on the track. But track position is important in Abu Dhabi, as we haven't had a run long enough for DRS to activate and become a meaningful resource. So if you have another safety car, that's fine. Especially if it comes before lap 13 or 14, or whenever DRS ends up becoming available. And looks like Kyle Phillips is really falling behind there. Did he check his Instagram feed or something? What the heck? Definitely not going in this lap. 11th down are not here, and they're not even close. Well, 11th and 12th are. Have you just been under a safety car? Okay, meanwhile I am currently being spammed with a spam bot in the chat. This is where I'm very glad I don't have the chat on screen. Good Lord above, Travis. I'm agnostic, and here I am saying good Lord above. The irony is certainly not lost on me. There's the info, as last place has arrived at the back of the train, and oh my lord, we have reached a city street. We're doing 30 now. And well, that's cruel. Another 5-second collision penalty under safety car. I don't know why they penalized both drivers. It's stupid. Obviously, Fonseca wasn't doing anything other than slowing the field down because the safety car is trying to drive away. And he gets a penalty for it because somebody isn't paying attention. Anyway, congratulations, Parker. Because that massively helps you, and we are going. Alright, I was not at all prepared. And we are green once more from Abu Dhabi. Colton Irving already into the pits for what must be like the 5th time for him. Parker's looking to get this move done here and now on Liam Huffman up ahead. Huffman gets just enough of an exit out of that hairpin, though, that he may avoid the inevitable for now. I don't know for how long. I don't think he'll last past DRS. Not with Parker on his heels, of all people. His teammate Kyle Phillips is behind Parker. I don't know, Parker seems to be feeling a little bit of pressure or something. He's trying to break the slipstream at least. And McIntosh getting into the picture versus the AlphaTauri, who has just promptly done himself in on Jonathan Parker's rear tire. Right, Johnny Parker, right? I'm just reading off the spreadsheet. Don't kill me. We're not even halfway through the GP yet. We have 3 DNFs. Other cars also just out of the picture right now. I mean, there's going to be another safety car. As Donald Stern has found, I believe that would... Sean Cosley also finds the same fate. And oh look, another safety car. Right as I was about to say, we'll probably have another safety car. Oh my god, people, it's Abu Dhabi, not flipping Monaco. You get a penalty. You get a penalty. You get a penalty. Everyone gets a penalty. You know, I told Scarborough when I accepted this commentary position, I asked him if it was going to be like I expect, there's going to be a bunch of safety cars and there's never going to be any racing. He tells me, don't worry about it, safety cars are unreduced. Well, I'm worrying about it because there hasn't been any racing yet. Interesting call that Parker pits, but McIntosh stays out, as does Scarborough and Stone. We're still questioning the fact that McIntosh stayed on softs. If we were on mediums or hards, I wouldn't even made a second thought. But oh, we've reached the safety car. Oh, and well, Fabian stayed out, but that's because he probably wants to be out of last place finally. Five pit stops, and Fidel might still come away with points. A long shot. But all it takes is another safety car, and him on a new set of mediums, or a few laps later, new set of softs, and suddenly Fidel is a contender for top 5. Despite that being a 6th pit stop at that point. Also 4 pit stops for Gabe Cazola and Van Oostendorp, and also a 5th pit stop for Colton Irving, who would probably be lapped by now if not for the safety cars every other lap. Now Fonseca gets a penalty for a collision with a car that's behind him. And another penalty, this time for Van Oostendorp running into Gabe Cazola. This race is just going to be settled by who doesn't get safety car penalties. That's what this is. That's what this is coming down to. Stotts, what are you doing? Or Gabe, what are you doing? Who's supposed to be where here? I am visible confusion. We should be green here. Irving has caught up. There it is. I'm really confused if we weren't, and I probably would have been a little annoyed too while we're at it. My chair makes a cameo. So leader has 10 seconds of penalties. Crabtree with the drive-through. Anderson with the drive-through. Kyle Phillips with 3 seconds. Ethan Fonseca with 5 seconds, which he shouldn't have. So McIntosh is the net leader at the moment. So that 10-second penalty would put Huffman, well, not in the lead. Terrible exit there for the AlphaTauri driver. He doesn't seem to be in total control of his car right now. No DRS, unfortunately, for McIntosh. Otherwise, I feel like this would be a pretty straightforward move. There's another terrible exit for the AlphaTauri. Red Bull has pretty good chance of this maneuver. Dump all of the ERS the two drivers have. Too wide into the left, right, left. That's always sketchy. But McIntosh slithers his way through, and he is now the leader of the GP. Scarborough will look to follow. And if Scarborough does so, he will be in a better position all around, as he will have tires that can go further. Tyler's tires probably need to be changed in about 4 or 5 laps. Jake's, assuming he doesn't spin out or, you know, drive too harshly, might be able to make to the end of the race on these mediums. I don't really remember how bad tire wear is at this circuit. My audio is still staticking. I still don't know if that is my mic or the game. Could honestly be either one. Crabtree has DNF'd. Oh, look, it's another... Not gonna make me lose my mind. The safety car, I think, has led more laps in this Grand Prix than any one driver has. McIntosh pits, Scarborough. The ones I expected to pit are going in. The ones that pit on the last safety car do not go in. Well, almost everyone is here. I'm sure we could probably go in this lap if Travis Van Nusendorp wasn't still in Sector 1. Because Fidel has arrived, but we cannot go in because it's leaving the Haas car behind. So right now, driver in the best position undoubtedly would be Jonathan Parker. He's got tires that can reach the end of the race, no penalties to speak of, nothing. And a lot of pace too, I have no doubt. Wolfgang, if he can keep his tires alive, I think he can get to the end from here, maybe? I don't know. I actually ironically think that Huffman could make it to the end. Just based on the amount of time we've spent not really going at racing speed, those tires are probably not all that worn. The only real problem is that he has that 10-second penalty, which pretty much denies him any chance of winning this race. He's no Lewis Hamilton. I'll definitely be in this time, and this is already our 4th safety car, so we can only have one more from here to the end of the race. I have no doubt in my flippin' mind that we're going to use it that 5th time. So I guess if anything, get it out of the way as soon as we hit the green flag, so we can have 8 laps of an actual Grand Prix to go once that safety car is done. Or we can just not need the safety car, that would also be grand, but I'm not holding my breath. I'll definitely be paying a little bit of attention to McIntosh and Scarborough here, as they obviously have some pace. They've been at the front, or near the front, for a good chunk of this race, and they have completely fresh tires. If we can actually get to the DRS before another safety car comes out, they could probably sneak their way up and into some decent points. If we have another safety car though, then honestly, who knows? And who am I kidding? If that's a win, what is Wolfgang doing? Yeah? And then he just drove into the back of him, and that's a wall. Interesting driving from... Well, I mean, it was only a matter of goddamn time, wasn't it? Oh, that's why he's driving so weird, because there's a car there. I'm like, what is Parker making this racing line for? Because Fonseca's trying to take the lead away. Parker probably a bit petrified by what he just witnessed going into T1. But Fonseca has seen death. He's faced death many a time, and he's not phased. Parker backs out of that braking zone. And I mean, yeah, if you're Parker in this situation, why even waste your time? What is going on? And Gabe is gone. Alright, well that was something. Irving versus Kyle Phillips into 11. Catches a wheel. Jake just gets through that on instinct and nothing else, I think. They hooked wheels, and that's a spin for that AlphaTauri. That's not advised, Tyler McIntosh. There are heavy braking zones ahead. That's why you don't do that here. Stotts capitalizes on McIntosh getting desperate to stay with Scarborough on the softer compound of tires. Stotts extending the track. How different this Grand Prix would look if we were on if we weren't on regular corner cutting. That's... Oh my god, what just happened there? Was that self-inflicted, or was that a takeout on Scarborough? I think I know the answer. Well, today is a good day if you're a Ferrari guy, I guess, as they are running 2-3 at the moment. Parker losing a bit of time to Fonseca, but I don't think Parker's too phased, as Ethan still has his penalty. It's too much curb for the AlphaTauri driver. He's just interesting racing lines all around from him. At long last, for the first time since lap 3, DRS has been activated, but there's nobody in range of anybody else to actually get anything out of it. As Kyle Phillips has had a mistake through turn 3. That corner has claimed many drivers already. He earns a penalty for his troubles. Same fate awaits Travis Van Oostendorp as he heads through it. Fidel takes it very slowly and he avoids the same fate. Jonathan Parker is loitering just outside of DRS range. I'm fairly certain everybody in the top 5 can make it from here, but the only one that I know for sure can is McIntosh. I suppose probably mediums can get to the end. But soon enough, McIntosh is going to start gaining on Stotts a lot in the last 3 or 4 laps of the Grand Prix. Maybe sooner. Depends on the pace difference between them passively. Fidel got around in the hotel section. What just took place there? What? Still no DRS for anyone. I don't even think Travis will be able to obtain any on Fidel Fabian here. Not especially if he almost loops it through 3. I do not know how much the gap between McIntosh and Stotts is changing, but currently Stotts is catching up to Jonathan Parker. The tire difference is strong at the moment. Obviously Stotts has the best tires right now, other than Fidel, but Fidel's 20-some seconds back from the next car, and he's not really an immediate threat to anyone else on the circuit at the moment. He is in a definitive no man's land as we speak. Oh yeah, Stotts is getting there. Stotts will probably end up with DRS sooner than his teammate up ahead will. He's also definitely pulling away from McIntosh. However, eventually that will die out, as will his tires. The distance between Tyler and Parker isn't getting any different. It's just that Matthew Stotts is kind of moving in between them. As everyone is pushing all of their battery. Travis with a 5-second time penalty for speeding. Man, isn't he already dead, F1? Oh, that's a line. That's a racing line, Matthew. There's a spin. Turn 3 claims yet another hapless victim in the form of Colton Irving. A half-decent Sector 1 from Stotts, and he will have DRS. That's not a half-decent Sector 1 at all, my guy. That's a wall. And that was brutal, and I'm also very surprised that Matthew did not lose a tire from that impact. He certainly lost his wing, and probably a bit of his pride. Whatever was left of it at this point. But, I mean, he is still going for what that might be worth. I don't want to say the results are determined. I'm just saying, without another safety car, the results are pretty much set. If Parker is going to win this race, he does have to get a little bit closer. Travis Van Dusendorp is around in the final corner. That summons a VSC as he's retired the car there. Not a full safety car though. Ultimately, this does nothing. Like, literally nothing. Neither of these guys are going to pit. All this is basically saying, hey, stop racing for 30 seconds. McIntosh pits. Obviously Stotts does. He doesn't have a choice. I guess Tyler thought maybe taking P2 or 1 was no longer an option. You'd best hope he comes back out ahead of Gabe, though. It's going to be tight. Okay, no, never mind. McIntosh will pull out ahead as Gabe is forced to obey the VSC Delta. This very long VSC Delta, which has lasted an entire minute. Oh my lord. So McIntosh elects to try for the fastest lap of the race. God, look at that. It's almost going off the screen at this point. They've had so many pit stops. Oh, I know. Fastest lap. There's an option for it. The fastest lap belongs to Colton Irving, who has just gotten cleaned by turn 3 again. People just don't learn, huh? Corner fast, car loose, not go fast, car not loose. So if Tyler or Stotts can match a 37 flat, there's the bonus point for him. And honestly, that's the only thing worth looking at during this race. Here goes Tyler on his attempt. I feel like I'm back in qualifying now. Stotts about the same thing. They have all the real estate that either driver could want to have for a run at the fastest lap. McIntosh is about to run out of ERS though. Meanwhile, Matthew has a ton of it. So smart money is on Stotts to claim this fastest lap, unless Stotts botches his lap. Which, based on how much curb he just took there, it's not impossible. As we have 2 laps remaining, a yellow is out for the AlphaTauri down there. McIntosh does not hack the 37 flat. What will Stotts produce? Will he take that fastest lap away? He's about a 10th short. So the fastest lap point is going to go to a driver who's not even going to finish the GP. Go figure. May have some final lap action though. On those very fresh tires and a very fast lap, Matthew Stotts has massively cut in to Gabe Cazolla's lead ahead of him, and we may be looking at a last lap pass for the Ferrari driver. Gabe's tires are dead. There's the DRS, and we'll see if Matthew has enough in him to take the spot away. It looks like he will, and by quite a margin. Well, that was anticlimactic. Oh no! That's a costly error. Turns 2 and 3 claim another victim in the form of Jonathan Parker. I think he's lost all of his front wing, and that should end up putting Tyler McIntosh into P2. Yeah, he's not gonna be missing turn 3. He's got plenty of grip in those tires. You could see the stricken Ferrari in the distance. And I would be quite surprised if somehow Parker hangs on to even 3rd place, to be honest. We haven't even hit all of the corners yet. Where do you even brake for this? There, I guess. Holy crap. How much of his wing is gone? Oh, it's all gone. I do suppose it does help all of these corners are so unbelievably slow that you don't lose a whole lot of time through them with no front wing. Another time penalty, although that's because he didn't serve his, right. So I think Ethan Fonseca is going to be your Grand Prix winner. But Tyler McIntosh is going to cut under and take a P2 away from Parker, who's lost his front wing at the last lap. And yeah, we didn't need that tire anyway, Parker. Don't worry about it. Matthew Stotts, P4. Cazzola, P5 on track. I don't know how much that penalty was for. Fidel, with his 7 pit stops, will claim 6th place and just stop the car. Stop the cap, stop the count, stop the Honda, just stop. Eventually, Kyle Phillips, with all the penalties in the known universe, will head around to finish P7 and cap off the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with 11 DNFs. We've had driver of the day, but that's, I don't know, because he kind of didn't have a wing at the end of the race, so it's really hard to judge. So that wraps things up for me here in the opening round of the Marlboro World Championship. Same time next week will be the next Grand Prix. I have no idea what it'll be. Go ahead and look at the schedule. How professional I am, but then again, I don't really know if professionalism really matters in this league. So yeah, until then, goodbye.